Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Wednesday, the 8th of October. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Multiple Google Chrome flaws allow attackers to execute arbitrary code. So there's an article in GB Hackers came out this morning that points out that Google has rolled out updates for Chrome on Mac, Windows and Linux that fix three critical security flaws, which are based around memory handling. Via exploiting those vulnerabilities, attackers can gain the ability to run arbitrary code in the context of the browser. So good article from GB Hackers, as always, a fair amount of decent technical information in there, or links out to places where you can do a deep dive on this if you want to. However, the answer is apply the patches. So if you are using Google Chrome, it will at some point it will pop up saying, it'll do the updates most likely if you've got the default settings, and it'll pop up saying, please relaunch Chrome to apply updates if you're particularly bothered, which is not necessarily the wrong thing to do, actually. And if you're concerned about this stuff, then absolutely fine. Go in, prompt Chrome and give it a restart yourself, just to trigger the update to be applied. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. It is coming through to your system soon. So as I'm sure you are well aware, Salesforce suffered a substantial data theft earlier this year. There have been ongoing attempts by the Ransom group to extort Salesforce into paying up the ransom. Salesforce has refused. So what we can expect, scheduled for the 10th and thereafter, is the attackers to start releasing the data that they have stolen. Now, there's a lot of commercial stuff. Salesforce, just from the nature of the game, yes, and it does more than just manage your sales pipeline. It's a fully fledged CRM. Probably the biggest, most famous in the world. Question of whether it's the best or not, but it doesn't really matter if it does the job for you. Only trouble is, of course, that means that all your information about all of your customers, what you've sold them, what you've discussed with them, all your emails to and from, who's a customer of who, all these sorts of things is all likely to be in the information that was stolen from Salesforce. So whilst there's absolutely nothing that you can do to technically prepare yourselves for the release of this data, at least from a managing the message perspective, it's worth being aware of the fact that if you use Salesforce, your data may well be released on dark websites, undoubtedly will then get distributed via all the normal channels. So worth thinking about. Possibly preparing comms, talking to your legal teams. Yes, okay, this is a cyber and therefore reasonably technical briefing, but bear in mind that in dealing with disasters, it is rare that the technical or cyber or infosec or whatever teams can deal with the whole piece. They can certainly make sure that all of the right things are being done from a cyber or technical perspective, but whether how the company weathers the storm is much more down to corporate comms, legal, some extent finance, the other parts of the business and the messages. So yeah, be prepared for those things. Possibly speak to your corporate comms team about what the messaging should be, how it should be being handled. Speak to, they should probably speak to their lawyers about these sorts of things. Just get ahead of the game, because if you've got a strong message, and there's no point in trying to pretend this stuff hasn't happened, but you need a message to your customers and or suppliers and or who else is going to be, the data is going to be released as part of this, around, well, what are you going to do as a consequence of this? What's the, how are you minimizing the impact in your own organization? How are you minimizing the impact for other people who you do business with? So yeah, have a think about that one before the stuff gets released and you're on the back foot. And then finally from me today, I came across a really cool article, again in GB Hackers. There is now a MIC E mouse, as in MIC letter E mouse attack. What is this, you may ask? Well, the optical sensors on modern optical mice, all mice these days are optical, aren't they? On optical mice, the sensors are so sensitive that they can act as a recorder for voice conversation or conversations. They can record voice via the micro vibrations of the desk or the surface that the mouse is sat on. So prerequisites to the attack, of course, are that you need to have compromised a machine in a secure environment where people are holding these conversations. You need to have got the Mickey Mouse, I love that, got the Mickey Mouse software onto a machine somewhere. That machine has to have the ability to exfiltrate this information. But using the magic of modern tech stuff, it's possible to take the rather flaky digital signals and quite accurately reconstruct conversations from this. So if you work in secure environments, on the latest list of things that you've got to be worried about, your mouse is spying on you. Right, that's all from me for today. Hope you have a good Wednesday, and I will speak to you all again tomorrow morning.